Products provided by Nintendo.
It looks like I've got work to do. And this time, I have help.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a sort of review here on the Commonwealth Realm. I am Joey Ferris, and today I am joined by Alan Plummer.
Howdy. How it be?
How be it? It be good. Yeah, really. But we're talking about a very special game in the Nintendo Switch library that just came out last week. And it's still baffling to think that Nintendo, of all companies, said, let's lend one of our most valuable IPs to an indie developer. And in this case, it was the indie developer who made Crypt of the Necrodancer. That is crazy.
It's still kind of mind-boggling that this is actually even a thing.
Exactly.
Like, after playing it, I'm like, wow, this feels like the Nintendo polish, but an indie form.
It's crazy. It really is. And of course, the game we're talking about is Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda. But we just call it Crypt of the Necrodancer. No, we don't call it that. We call it Cadence of Hyrule here just because we don't have all day to talk about game titles and stuff.
Crypt is fun. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend the first one.
Of course. But if you want to jump into Cadence of Hyrule because you're a big Zelda fan, it's not like there's much of a story to follow, if I recall correctly.
No, there's not much lore to it in general. You got Cadence, and she falls into Hyrule.
Boom.
That's it.
Best story ever.
It's the ultimate crossover.
Yeah, exactly. And this game is too story heavy from what we've both been playing. We've both been playing it over the past weekend.
It's got as much heavy themes and story as your typical top-down, like Link Between Worlds, Link's Awakening, stuff like that.
Of course, I see.
Yeah.
And there's kind of some voice acting in there, but, not too much. It's mostly text boxes and stuff, but, it's an indie game using Zelda characters. Still crazy, still awesome, and it's worth the $25. But let's talk about the gameplay, because that's the central overlying theme of this game. And I have to warn you guys, if you like your Zelda games not challenging or not too challenging, you're going to have a little bit of a rough time with Cadence of Hyrule, let me tell you.
This is a weird game. It really is. Like, if I could jump into that, it is a weird game because it is so weirdly full of some random difficulty spikes that it could either go really good or really bad real fast. You can see really good speedrunners. But then when you hit, I got towards the end of the game, there's a really large difficulty spike.
Oof.
Because I blasted through that game in like 2 hours.
Dang. So it's kind of like those games where it's like it's short if you just focus on beating the game. But if you want to take your time through it, gather all the puzzle, do all the puzzles,
it rewards you.
Exactly. And I
really like that about that.
And what I do love about this game, it's got the traditional Zelda like map, all that good stuff. You got the castle, you have the beaches, they have Lost Woods, and it messes with you in that section. That's great. It's classic. Clearly these developers have a very big love for Zelda, and if you're a game developer, how could you not? Honestly.
Oh yeah.
And we should probably mention that this game does not control like a traditional top-down RPG action game at all. If you played Crypt of the Necrodancer, you know how it plays. But if you haven't, then basically what you have to do is when you move, well, you only move like this when enemies are on screen. When there are no enemies on screen, you can move all willy-nilly however you want. But your characters hop to the beat of the music, and you have to do...
It's tile-based gameplay.
Yep, you have to time everything to the beat of the music. And even though I consider myself a rather rhythmic person, don't play an instrument, but I know how to clap to beats of songs. I do it all the time, and just doing this, it's because it's conflicting between your gamer instincts and your rhythm instincts.
It's a really good point. It's a really good way to say it right there. I like that.
Exactly, because you're doing everything to the beat of the music. They have a little guide at the bottom of the screen to help you out with that stuff, but it's still... Go on.
What I think really makes it stand out, and it's the same as the Crypt of the Necrodancer, the original game, is that it gives you the enemies that you expect out of a Zelda game, but at the same time, each of them have their own specific weapon, like attack, like their own definitive way of attacking them. You know what I mean? Some of them have shields, you can't attack them head on, so you have to go around them.
They have a different attack patterns. They have different weaknesses. They have different attack ranges. Like some of these fools kill you in like 2 hits if you're not careful.
Yeah, and that's when you have to. And then you said on top of the whole rhythmic essence of the game, you have to like plan every single move accordingly, or else you're gonna run in. Like I just ran into a really bad corner where it was nothing but shielded dudes just taking me out one by one. I'm like, I can't get out of this.
Of course.
And it happens, but it doesn't really mean it's a cheap death. It just means it just happens. It's an RNG kind.
It means you gotta get good. Essentially.
You gotta get good. That's the name of the game. You eat your vegetables, you play the Zelda. You get the monkey, you get the game.
Bingo. Tales of Monkey Island. Buy it. But back to Cadence of Hyrule. What's different also about this Zelda game is since you will die a lot, they give you diamonds for basically defeating every enemy on screen in a certain map. And if you have enough diamonds, you can buy like essential items that show up at the little shop that is in heaven or something. I don't know. It's that place where you basically refuel if you want. Sometimes really valuable items end up there. It's all random, like a heart piece, or not even a heart piece, a full-on heart container. But obviously those are the most rare ones, and it's very interesting. What would you call that genre again? It's kind of roguelike, yeah, but the map stays the same. So it does have that roguelike aspect like you were saying, but without the changing of the environments, essentially. And that's what Crypt of the Necrodancer was. Yeah, well, so it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. From what I've seen, some game like maps are different. So Link would be located in some other areas. Kakariko Village will be in some areas compared to where your game is. Your friend might be in the east area, while mine was in the northwest area or northeast area. So it's kind of cool seeing this game not being the same experience for everybody else.
Exactly.
Like when I got stuck, I was looking for specific things. I was looking for specific locations. Or like you could find it maybe here. Who knows? It's maybe there, but one thing I really like is that it stays to its roots. It knows that it's a Zelda game, and that's kind of what I was waiting for after Link Between Worlds. I was able to tackle every single dungeon without really having to do anything. If I knew what was going on, and if I got good, I could just run in there real quick, take them out, come out, go do the next one, rinse and repeat.
Exactly.
Essentially, that's kind of what, Link to the Past, Link Between Worlds, they kind of did the same thing, and I think this game succeeds in that.
Absolutely. It stays to its roots, like you said, of both Zelda and Crypt of the Necrodancer. It doesn't sacrifice anything.
I had fun in both ways.
Yeah, exactly. And it also just makes me think, like, since Nintendo lent this IP to these developers, what other IPs could they send to other indie developers? Like, this is the era of a brand new Nintendo. We're seeing them do stuff like this, and we see them lend out their IP to third-party developers, and that makes sense from a business standpoint, but never did we think that we could see this from an indie standpoint as well. Like, I can't think of any other...
I was giving that thought the other day, too, about how massive that is. The fact that I would say it's their most prized franchise right next to Mario.
Absolutely.
Like one of their biggest IPs, and they're just lending it to these guys who had a vision, and they definitely knocked it out of the park with this one, So it was a really good instance of Nintendo had a good decision, trusted their gut, and they made the right choice with giving it to these guys. They made a fantastic game. It was still true to the Zelda game, but also offering a completely different experience.
That is something else. So if you're really looking for a new Zelda game to play before Link's Awakening, definitely give Cadence of Hyrule a shot. But just be ready. Just be patient with that game. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very hard. And but it's great. It's worth it. I would give it a solid 9 out of 10 here on the Commonwealth realm. Wouldn't you agree?
I completely agree.
Excellent. Nah, I'm thinking more of a 9.1 out of 10. That'd be more accurate, We actually grade things out of 100 here, so that's actually a 90 out of 100. Yay, decimals and fractions and stuff. But thank you for joining me, Alan. It was great talking with you. Where can we find you
You can find me at Alonzo Mega on Twitter and Facebook, as well as Nuke the Fridge Gaming on YouTube.
Absolutely. You can find me there as well. Hey, I do stuff for Nuke the Fridge Gaming. Awesome. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you are new, subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when we upload another video regarding new Nintendo games, Nintendo Switch reviews, all that good stuff. We also have another Zelda video out for you today, so if you haven't checked that out, be sure to do that right this second. But we'd also like to thank our Patreon supporters, including royal producers Kenyatta Ali and Bradley Carriage. And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. All right, stop this bitch.